guys, today we're going to be reading the Lorax. Bear with me because I've never done this before and I feel a little bit like a wally. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows and no birds ever sing excepting old crows is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say if you look deep enough you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before someone lifted the Lorax away. And what was the Lorax and why was it there and why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum under the roof where he makes his own clothes out of muffed moose. And on special dark midnights in August he peeks out at the shutters and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail and you have to toss in 15 pence and a nail in the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. You see the pail? Then he pulls at the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slap the whisper my phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a sniggly hose, and he sounds if he's had smallest bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding grey, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away, and I'll start way back such a long time ago. See the whisper in my phone? Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still sweet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright coloured tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile and the fresh morning breeze. Oh, doesn't it just look beautiful? And under the trees I saw brown Barballots frisking about in their Barballot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came a comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. There's the Barballots and there's the fish. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts such softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a theed. Knitting a theed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was a sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy. He spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I'm the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffle tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a theed, and theeds are a fine thing that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. If you can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that full theed. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute, a chap came along. And he thought that the theed I'd knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You stupid poor guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone and I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Winslow family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Warweakin, shut right at South Stitch. It's a radio phone. And in no time at all in the factory I built, the whole Winslow family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thieves, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffle trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees with one smacker. We were making thieves 4 times as fast as before, and the Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown Barballots who played in the shade in their Barballot suits and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go round. And my poor Barballots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. Oh, look at the poor Barballots. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Winslow, felt sad, but as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. Once they're sending them away. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thieves I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thieves, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffed and he snarled and he sniffed. Once he cried with a cruffulous croak, Onceler, you're making such smoggerless smoke. My poor swanamy swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who's got smog in their throat. Oh, look at them, poor things. And so said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where they will go, I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape the smog you've smogged up around here. And we're flying off. What's more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making Gluppity Glup, also Schloppity Slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. Look at that filth. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. I hear things are just as bad up in Lake Erie. Oh, look at that pond. It's filthy, isn't it? And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on just doing what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffler trees into thieves, which everyone needs. Oh, look, he's telling the Lorax. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of the axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffler tree of them all. Oh, look, it's the last one. No more trees, no more thieves, no more work to be done. So in no time my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smugged stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. Them all going. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad backwards glance. He lifted himself by the seat of his pants. I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through the hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And he goes whoop, whoop, through the hole. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. It's a pile of rocks. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffler seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffler seeds, and the truffler trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffler, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. So I'm throwing the seed. And that is the end of our story. I hope you enjoyed it. It's one of my all-time favourites. Enjoy your day, guys.